Hello and welcome to the Fairy Little Podcast. I am Marsha, also known as Fairy Little. I want to say a huge welcome back to anybody who has been here before and a giant welcome to anybody who is new. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a hectic life. I've been able to get some time right now to record, so I'm really excited to be speaking with you again. I have quite a bit to show you, to discuss, what else do I have to look at? Oh, here it is. So without further ado, let's get straight into the knitting. And then I have a finished object. I have a design that came out. I have a new book purchase. I have a little bit of new yarn. And I have some works in progress that are coming along swimmingly. So let's get into it. Let's start with my finished object, then I'll talk about my projects that are on the go. So I have a pair of socks that are done. I actually wore these, so these are not only blocked, but they have been worn. They need to be washed now. This is my new Socksy pattern that came out a couple weeks ago. This pattern has an afterthought heel and it has an afterthought heel tutorial included in the pattern. I've done it in self-striping yarn. I'm going to be knitting it again, but in a solid color. I think it'll be beautiful in a solid. So I'm looking forward to starting that. I have all the tags here that I'm working with. So this yarn is by Knit Mona, and I can't find her online. It is a suggested yarn in Ravelry. So I know that it has been a yarn in the past, but I don't know if it's still available. I couldn't find them on Instagram for an so I couldn't tag them in it. This is the summer camp colorway, which is perfect because it is summer. The yarn is 465 yards per 100 grams, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a 4-ply. So again, I'm not sure if you can get a hold of this yarn anymore. I am going into my deep stash. I still have yarn from Knit City the last time I attended, which was 2018. I have yarn from 2018 and before, and I kind of stopped buying yarn. There was a couple yarns that I have purchased that were directly related to projects I was working on, and I am designing another design that I have yarn for that as well, but I have to get cracking a little bit quicker on that one. So those socks are done. They are fantastic. I am very addicted to knitting socks right now. I have one pair on the needles right now that are in my little bag here. I can't remember who this bag is by. If you remember, I got this bag 6 years ago, and it has been my summer knitting bag pretty much since. I had a Okanagan Orchard cowl that I was working on that was housed in here for a long time because it had all of these colors in it. But before I started recording again, I finished or frogged everything that I had kind of sitting there. I have a couple new designs that I did not frog, but I might still go through and frog. But I'm working on a pair of socks. These are just vanilla socks. And I took my kids to the fair a couple weeks ago, the carnival, so they went on rides and stuff, and I didn't do any knitting there, but I brought my bag, and when I brought my bag, I put this in it. They had like a shooting thing with their like pellet gun things, and they're not sighted properly or anything, but I did fairly well. I did not win because I still had that little red mark there, so I didn't win, but it was pretty good. I've always been a really good shot, so I don't believe in like shooting animals, but I do like target practice. So It's good. So these are my new socks. They're going to be an afterthought heel sock. These are not for myself. I am doing 72 stitches and on a 2mm Haya sharp needle. These needles are the kind that could do a foot. Like, they're really sharp. They are very small because they're 2mm. And I've just been doing the magic loop, which if you are fairly new to knitting, what that means is, I'll just show you quickly because while we're here, we might as well. So I knit continental style. So my yarn goes on my left hand and I just swoop it through. And then the needle that you're not working on, you just pull that needle out and you work on the yarn that you're working on, and you end up with 2 loops, which makes it really easy to knit. And then you're only working on the one needle is the one you're working on, and then the other needle is just holding your stitches, and it has lots of give because it's on the other loop. So it's the magic loop and it's magic. So these socks are for a friend of mine and I'm really looking forward to giving them to him. I am kind of at a stall right now because I don't know how long his foot is. So I have to measure his foot and then I will finish that up, finish the toe and put the heel in. So the yarn at the very top is Cascade Heritage 75% merino wool and 25% nylon. 437 yards for 100 grams. So that's this top color. And then I have Heritage Wave. Does it say the color? Okay, so the top is color 5753, if you're wondering. And the Heritage Wave is color 501. What I like about the Wave is that it's got 2 colors that weave through the whole thing, and both of the colors change as you go through. They darken, and one starts as more of a gray and then it goes into more of a blue. So it's just 2 different shades of blue at this point, it feels like. Yeah, it's 2 shades of blue. It's really nice to knit with. It's just squishy and comfy. I am really enjoying it. I don't think I'm much farther on this sock to go before I add the toe in, but we'll see. So I have both of these balls going, and that is where they are on that. My next work in progress. This is one that I love so much. I've been knitting so slow on it, but today I picked it up. I was waiting for some yarn because I don't know if I have enough yarn to finish it. Go lay down. Lay down. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Because I don't know if I have enough yarn to finish it. So I ordered some yarn. They were totally out of the color that I was using. This is called the Augusta cardigan. It's an oversized cardigan. And the construction of it is very unique and very interesting. You knit this panel up first, then you pick up stitches and knit out, and then you pick up stitches on the other side and knit out. There's some grafting stitches together, then you're picking up more stitches along the bottom to knit that, and then more stitches along the front and the front edge, which has a really large edge and neckline. And the yarn is amazing. The pattern is fairly simple to follow. I think it's written out really well, so I think that's probably why I haven't had any problems. I'm fairly good with patterns anyway, but this is how far I have gotten. So the last time I talked about this, I was over here, I believe, and then I knit the rest of the sleeve. So that's the cable up the back, the rest of the sleeve. I did graft the stitches here, and when I block them, it's a little bit tight, but when I block it, I'm going to make sure that those stitches are even. Blocking just covers a multitude of sins. And then this is a 2x2 rib for the sleeve. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying this. I think that blocking it will release some of the tension in the sleeves a little bit, because I don't think that they're quite supposed to be that tight. I could be wrong. They seem in the pictures like they're a lot looser. So it could just be that once it's blocked, that'll relax it. The yarn I'm using is called Melamia Sweden Natural Soft Aran. So it's a little bit heavier too. The pattern calls for worsted, and this is an Aran weight yarn. So it's a smidgen heavier. So it would automatically start pulling in a little bit more with ribbing because it's a denser fabric. So that's just a natural occurrence with a fabric like that. So this is the top, and it's got waste yarn in it. So that's going to be waiting. When the sleeves are both done on both sides, then I pick up all the stitches around the whole thing. And that's where these stitches will become live again. I will just pick those up, and then I'll be knitting right straight off of those. This pattern it's a really creative design. I like that it's not just knitting the back and front in one sleeve, two sleeves. It's knitting the front and back kind of at the same time because of how it's shaped. And then you pick up and you create the wide collar. So it's maintaining my interest. I put it down because I don't know if I have enough of the pink. And I scoured the internet to find more pink. I found one more pink. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pink left. So I should have enough to do the body and the cuffs. But after that, I think I will be running out of yarn. So I ended up picking out a gray. Still the Melamia yarn, but it's a very gentle gray that goes with this pink. So that will be the whole front neckline and bottom ribbing will be in the gray. And I think I'm gonna really like it. I wish it was all in pink, but that's okay. Oh, actually I have 6. I had one pulled out already. So I have 6 left. So I'm going to go as far as I can with the pink, and fingers crossed it would make it. But if it doesn't, I have enough of the gray to do everything else that I need to do. So that's coming along very well. There was a yarn crawl in this area a couple weeks ago, and I went down to the local yarn store. I did not participate in the yarn crawl. I had too much stuff going on. Right now my life is just pretty hectic, so I'm like busy all of the time. But I did pick up this book. It's called Outlander Knitting. And it has some really beautiful designs in it that are very fun. I'm just gonna put my hand over that charting. Some nice shawls. I really enjoy Outlander, so seeing the designs that are inspired by Outlander, I really enjoy that. There's some really cool things going on here. And it talks about historical accessories, and there's mittens. There's a couple of really beautiful sweaters in here. There's some color work. There's also some color work. So this sweater that Claire's wearing is a lace diamond pattern sweater, and the pattern is in here. So that might be something that I knit in the future. It's beautiful. Let's see what kind of yarn it takes here. So it calls for a DK cashmere yarn. All of those things I like. So this is what that looks like there. And it doesn't have the ease built in. You have to take your measurement and then decide what size 2 to 3 inches larger than your bust that you will knit. It's a very beautiful book. I haven't knit anything out of it yet. I do, however, know the editor, Kate Atherley. I've taken classes with her, and she's a knitting genius, and I just appreciate her work and her attention to detail. She comes across as a very A-type personality, so very detail oriented, which I really like. Some other things that I got while I was there was some yarn, because they had some really good deals. And Marianne, who is Smith and You, the yarn dyer Smith and You, was there only for that night, and it was the end of the day. So I had to move fast before she had to pack up her things and go. And she has a new base that I picked, and it's the Panda base. So it's 70% merino wool, 20% bamboo, and 10% nylon. And it's very, very pretty. This one's called Bluebells. So I got that one. This one's called Spirit in the Sky, which is like purples and grayish. And this one is Misty Coast. So pretty. And this one is called Stormy Ocean. So very pretty. You might notice I'm stepping a little bit. Oh, and there's this other one. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I normally don't buy a lot of like turquoises and teals and blues, but I'm planning on doing a lot of gift knitting for Christmas this year with my hashtag Christmas knit box knit along that I am running. So if you want to participate, go ahead. We have a thread open in Ravelry and also doing it on Instagram. This one is called Pure Honesty, which is beautiful. That's pure honesty. Then I also got the yarn that I am knitting those socks in, and I picked up this Cascade Heritage Silk color, or Cascade Heritage, not silk, Cascade Heritage color 5627, and it's more of a green. And I also purchased Cascade Heritage Prints, 75% Superwash Merino, 25% nylon. And this one is a self-striping, and that is what the self-striping pattern is supposed to look like. This is definitely in my color wheelhouse, and so is this. These are a lot of the colors in my stash are in these families. So I just stepped a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I did that for the people I'm going to be knitting for this year, which is really exciting. Oh, and I put it in this bag, which was also a gift. This one, or I can't remember if this one was a gift or a purchase, but it was from Carolyn Lee Boots. And it's knitting bag. It had a button here at one point that this went and closed on the button, and it has a bunch of pockets on the inside. And I haven't purchased bags that recently. I think my Anna Green Gables bag was the last one that I purchased. The one that my sweater's in is the one that I usually put my big sweaters in. And this is the Fat Squirrel Speaks bag, and it is such a great size, and it can fit so many things. So I have everything. I even have screen protectors for my phone in here because I go through those like crazy. Somebody asked me how large it was along the top, and this one is 42.5 centimeters, and it is down. It's about 32 centimeters down. So nice having places to stick all of your knitting. I'm not recording in my recording room studio today. I just had a work meeting, so I thought while I'm sitting here and I'm all set up already, might as well record my podcast. So that is it for the actual knitting content for today. If that's all you're here for, thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to subscribe, hit that button. I also have a Patreon page that has additional videos when I'm not posting on YouTube. I am still posting over on Patreon, although in the last few weeks it has slowed down, but that's because my life is super hectic. It should start mellowing out again when school starts for everybody, but let's get into the jibber jabber and I'll talk about the why. I've been crazy busy. I'm going to be taking the girls to do their school clothes shopping. One of my girls goes to a private school. She wears uniforms. So that's done already. That's fine. And then the older girls, they go to public school. So I have to take them, and they've done major growth spurts this summer. They're all almost as tall as I am now, which is amazing, but it also means all new clothes for everybody because everything's too short in the legs and in the bodies and in the arms. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to take them probably this weekend. I'll take them shopping for clothes and get that all done. Shoes and everything. They are very excited. A couple of my girls had their first jobs this summer and they loved it. They loved having their own spending money. So I'm so proud of them. They worked so hard and the bosses were so impressed with the work they did. So I'm really happy with that. Now, one of them is going to be going to apply for more work, and so she's getting her resume ready and she's going to go start dropping it off at businesses, which is very cool. I'm so excited for this stage because they are learning more independence, which is so important, and pride in a job well done. That's just so exciting that they have their own spending money and that they are learning responsibility outside of the home, and that they can now because things have opened up a little bit. They're starting to close back up here again a little bit more, which I don't know what's going to happen in the fall regarding that. I hope that everybody's classes are proper and that everybody's attending school for full days. That was not the case last year, which made it really difficult to juggle everything, because every other day I was going in the middle of the day to pick up one of the kids. Then it would just break up the day because where they go to school and where I live is it's 20 minutes drive either way. So it's at least an hour to go and pick them up in the middle of the day, which interrupts a lot of flow for work and for recording and things. So it's going well so far. The plan is that everybody's going back to school. It feels weird not knitting as much as I used to knit. I wish I had more time to knit than I do. I try to stick it in wherever I can. I'm just exhausted. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that, where it's just, there's so much going on. It just feels like just low level exhaustion all the time. So sometimes I'll sit and like scroll Facebook, which I know is not healthy, or watch YouTube videos. But I'm not even watching knitting YouTube videos right now. I'm just watching I watch a lot of music videos. It's becoming a problem, really, is what it's becoming. I went on a quick trip recently to Calgary. I had to pick up some equipment, and I had a really great time. I went with a friend and went to all of their childhood haunts and met some family, which was a lot of fun. I had a really great time. There was a lot of laughing. I laughed so hard. My stomach hurt and my face hurt. It felt like my face was going to crack. I laughed so hard. It was really good. It was a much needed break from everything that's going on. Even though I was going to pick up equipment, it was still an important break that I needed to just decompress from all the stress that has been happening over the last little bit. I'm kind of at the final push of a bunch of things, and hopefully when the school year starts, or shortly after the school year starts, I will be able to just put all of that hectic chapter of my life behind me and not have to look back ever. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. It's gonna be so nice. Things are really looking up. There's still a whole bunch of like stressy stuff I have to go through to get to the end, but this is the end. This is it. It's the next, month, maybe 2, that I have to deal with stuff. And then after that, freedom, 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 freedom. And I'm very excited about that. It has been a long 2.5 years. I'm going to be working on this for the rest of the day. I kind of want to get this sleeve done. So I'm going to watch some movies. I am listening again to an Outlander audiobook, which is really nice. I enjoy it. But I will probably knit on this while I'm editing this. And I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast and update. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and I hope you accomplish all of your knitting goals, and I will see you soon. Until next time.